they thinking about the wisdom, okay, of this society in regards to the wisdom of universities, the wisdom of churches. Sure.
I think we pull the red thing down. Are y'all Christian?
Yeah, you can call us Christian.
We're Israelites.
I mean, we're Hebrew Israelites, but not every Hebrew Israelites is a Christian. The word Christian simply means you believe in who the world calls Christ. This right here?
So hey, basically what we've been saying this whole time is that, basically to sum it all up, America's a wicked place, man. America's a wicked place. Like I'm gonna read this real quick. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 21. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 21. You cannot drink of the cup of the Lord and the cups of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the tables of devils. All right, so basically you can't, like a dude, you can't be a mason and then you trying to be in the shoes at the same time. It's not gonna work out, okay? Because you can't serve two masters, all right? The only master is the Heavenly Father and His Son, Yahweh, okay?
I'll say this right quick. Since you had asked us if we was Christians or Hebrew Israelites, I take it that you heard about the Hebrew Israelites before. Okay, so you already know the people that's on the sign, Latinos, Native Seminole Indians, the so-called Negroes, okay, Hispanics are the Lord chosen people according to the Bible. Okay, because everything, like I don't know how each and every single person that calls himself an Israelite teaches, but everything that we teach is out of the scriptures.
Okay.
So you believe that the Bible is the word of God?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you know your nationality according to the Bible?
I'm black. I don't believe black African American because talk about Africa, it's like what part of Africa am I really from? I'm just not gonna claim the whole continent. I mean,
Well, this is a picture right here. You ever watched that movie Mandingo?
Hold on, wait. No.
Yeah, I believe you watched the movie Mandingo. They show you how people was on ships in West Africa. People ran from West Africa because during the Roman persecution, when the Romans ran into our land and was persecuting us, our people ran into West Africa because those were the closest people that we looked like. And that's why most of the Southern Kingdom landed over there, because the Northern Kingdom, the so-called Latinos and Native American Indians, they had already fled to the Americas when the Syrians was in power. So they was already gone, but it was like little dot to them inside with the Southern Kingdom, like the Southern Kingdom, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and so-called Jamaicans, basically the Benjamites, the West Indians. You got the so-called American Negro, which is the Judites, and then you got the so-called Haitians, which are the Levites. And those were the ones that was predominantly on these ships that came over here from West Africa. Because the Hamites, the Africans, which are the Hamites, they knew that those weren't our people. Right. So when the so-called white man came over there to buy us up and get us as slaves, he already knew who to give up. And if you go to certain parts of West Africa, like what's the part? Nigeria. Okay. A lot of the Nigerians, a lot of talent comes out of Nigeria. Right. A lot of good singers, a lot of good dancers come out of Nigeria. A lot of Africa's talents come out of West Africa, because that's where the bulk of our people are still at. Like if you look up, they have some, you look up on Google, you can look it up, it's called Fort Judah or Fort Benjamin. Those are places that they had in Africa, which proves that those were our people over there. And some of them over there still follow the customs, but they done got all bugged out and they doing all types of folly stuff. But that's just small proof to show that we was over there. And our people went over there as a boat. We was running from the Romans. So that's how we ended up in West Africa.
So white people came kidnapped, right?
Basically, yep. They kidnapped us. They kidnapped us amongst what they call it. They kidnapped us and they brought us over here, and they lynched a lot of our people. They burned a lot of our people. They would stand in circles. They had something in Florida called alligator bait. And what they used to do was grab the little so-called Negro babies and Native American babies, and they would feed them to alligators to get the alligator skin to take the skin and build clothes with. That's what they used to do to our babies. So that's why, this is a guy right here. If you can see, blood is dripping out of him. This is stuff that we come out here and we tell our people, like, this isn't lies,
What about the black slave masters?
What you mean the black slave masters?
There was never black slave masters?
The Hamites. The so-called Africans. Those were the ones, like, the ones that, like they try to say that, Native Americans, so-called Native Americans, were slave masters. The so-called Native American Indians that took in the so-called Negroes were treating them good. And there's artifacts of that. You can find that on the internet. They wasn't treating them bad. Like, the reason, like, you ever heard of black Indians? Yeah, the reason they call them black Indians is because the natives and so-called Negroes were having, sex with each other and creating babies with each other. Which what? They was intermingling with each other. They knew that we was brothers, That's why they try to, if you ever listen to somebody talk about so-called Native American Indians, what's the first thing they say? Oh, they were similar to the so-called Negroes.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the so-called first Native American Indians had curly, coarse hair like the so-called Negro. If you look up the first Mexicans, so-called Mexicans, they had coarse hair. We all had coarse hair. The reason a lot of our people, like you see a lot of Latinos with that straight hair is because that just shows you how much the so-called white man raped their people.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how they got their hair.
Right.
But it's beautiful to have that. It's beautiful to have coarse hair.
Right.
When I always push the vibe, a lot of our women, they put the weave in their head. I'm just telling you this off of experience. My woman, so-called Latino, she went to an interview and a woman said, she went there with her curly afro, and the woman said, don't come back with that hairstyle. And that's what happens here in America. That's why a lot of our women put weave in their head because they're not happy with themselves.
Yeah, you're right.
Society won't accept them.
You're right. Right.
And that's the unfortunate. But the good part is, I don't know if you got to know, but I want to read this scripture before you give me Revelation 21 and 4.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 4. And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
Because who's crying in America? The so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Indian. Those are the ones who cry. Now, what mostly happens in America? Our families are broken up. Either the man, he can't provide for his family because he can't get a job, or either he wasn't raised up to be a man.
Right.
He wasn't raised up to take care of his children because his father wasn't there.
Right.
So he ends up leaving. And that's the cycle that we all went through. I went through it, this brother went through it, and every other so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Indian went through it, unfortunately. And that's when most of the mothers end up being single mothers. Like, who are the most single mothers? So-called blacks and Latinos.
Yeah.
Those are the most single mothers.
Banks and companies, they got their first start on slavery. See, so that's something that a lot of our people are unaware of.
Yeah, right.
Another thing, he tried to make it seem like on the news he was crying because of the police shootings that was going on.
Michael Jordan?
Yeah, a lot of that's the thing, a lot of that is smoke and mirrors. Because he's said it multiple times how he doesn't care about the suffering of our people. Like, they ask him, what is your response to people killing one another for your sneakers? You got them priced so high that people will die to either steal somebody's sneakers or, to defend their sneakers, his brand. He said, look, I'm not in charge of the pricing. Besides, I don't even care. And he's even said it straight up. He doesn't care about so-called rap music, hip-hop music. I'm not talking about a lot of this demonic stuff that be happening on the radio.
That ain't hip-hop, I don't think.
But I'm saying in general though, because a lot of the stuff that's being pumped on the radio is garbage now. But I'm talking about just the hip-hop element as a genre.
Right.
He says I don't give a, pardon my French, but he says I don't give a F about that genre. I don't care nothing about it. And they the main ones that's rocking it. So you see how he gets to that level, you forget about where he came from.
Right.
You see?
Right.
He's not the only one. You got a lot of our people that they done got money in the society, and they try to push that image that, look, you can get to this level, but a lot of those people sold out and they praise Satan. And the scriptures tell you about how a lot of them got down. So I'm gonna read it again.
And he also, too, Michael Jordan owns sweatshops. Where he got different of our people working in the factories, and those sneakers are really worth no more than $1.
I heard about that.
They're worth no more than $1. then when they hit the stores, what is that? If you paying $1 per sneaker, what is that? That's 199. Like you get $200 pair of Jordans, that's 199% profit. Which means all of that is going in his pocket. Well, like when our people get up to the top, see the reason we say that this society got to be destroyed, because when our people do make it up to the top, they forget about everybody else that was down with them, that that was in the hood, hustling with them. They don't try to help nobody in the hood. They just like Jay-Z. When does Jay-Z go back to Brooklyn to help anybody?
You go back to the hood and your ass is not.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because scriptures speak about the hatred that our people have. And we was reading about it earlier. Our people have hatred towards one another. But that's a curse according to the Bible. Because our forefathers forgot who they were. They stopped following the laws, statutes, commandments of the scriptures. And the Lord said, all right, since you want to be like these other nations, I'm going to have you act like these other nations. And I'm going to make y'all hate each other like how these other nations hate us. See, that's why a lot of our people, they may get to a position where they got a lot of money or whatever, they better their situation, but when it comes to music and entertainment, what do? They boast about how they're better than where they came from. They boast about how they're better than all the other people that couldn't make it out. And really, the only thing that makes them different is they were more willing to sell their soul versus the other ones that was like, nah, I ain't gonna be a homo in order to get my record played, or I ain't gonna be a lesbian in order to get my music played. And a lot of those people, you look at those different signs that they do, they try to call us conspiracy theorists. Nah, it's all fact. Like even the Lord, like I don't know if the Lord, he was fasting for 40 days and 40 nights.
Yeah, I heard you.
And then the devil came up to him and tempted him. He said at the end of it all, in Matthew the 4th chapter, he says, look, if you bow down and worship me, I'm going to give you everything here. I'm going to give you all these kingdoms. I'm going to give you all these riches. So if Satan did that to the Lord and he was offering him all that riches, how much more these people that got these riches? Who gave it to them?
Right.
You see?
Right.
So what brothers is basically speaking into is the truth. Like you said, we don't know how a lot of these Israelites teach. And we got certain brothers that teach, I believe, in downtown North, which, they teach, I believe, to the best of their ability, the correct doctrine. But just like how you got different churches out there, different denominations, you got certain people that call themselves Hebrew Israelites, but they got different doctrines. You got certain people that say that they're Israelites and we God's chosen people, but then they push this image on our people. So you got certain people that say, yeah, we God's chosen people, but we're supposed to be hand in hand with these other nations. When the Bible is all about separation.